What up? What up? What's going on, you guys?
How's it going, everyone? And welcome to the TNA Body Slam Post Show. Burt Macklin here, joined by my good buddy Io. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Last night's episode was I had posted earlier. I do think that was probably one of the best episodes in this kind of
Yeah.
AMC era, if you want to label it that. I thought, top
Sorry
to
to interrupt.
bottom last night.
Sorry to interrupt, bro. Let me just refresh real quick. Just real quick.
All right, give Io a second, real quick. He'll be back with us. Yeah, like I was saying, last night's episode, from my perspective, they really hit a home run. And we're gonna bring Io back right now because I definitely want to. Of course, I want to get Io's thoughts on everything. Just give me 1 second, folks. We'll technical difficulties. They happen. All right, sorry about that. You guys, Io's back with us. Oh wait.
All right, here we go. All right.
Yeah, sorry about that. Io's back with us, man. Yeah, like I was saying, last night's show, I really thought from top to bottom, I think it gave you the fans, like people who like wrestling, people who like angles, people who like storylines. I think it gave everybody a little bit what they wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It felt like a top to bottom hell of an episode. Like they not only like got things started like the proper advertise the proper build up to like I think they had a good card. Um and a good crowd obviously in Atlanta, but yeah, like this card, yeah. I know there's been one complaint like less knockouts matches. That's for another convo, but like when you look at it, like they kind of TNA's kind of like been kind of like keeping things at pace, with nice wrestling and nice storytelling. Doesn't feel like they're like overdoing things much, keeping it a balance with certain segments to kind of tell the story, and especially with the Santana and Macklin and stuff. It's funny, like Sacrifice is only 2 weeks away and stuff, and like it feels like what I mean. It feels like we're already building up well with this this feud between those two guys and stuff. Like I mean, what's your thoughts right now with the Macklin Santana stuff, and how is it so far?
Man, they've done a really good job with this storyline, especially just they keep kind of hammering home like different people will, Macklin technically up until last week didn't even work here. You know what I mean? They were really running with it. He was fired. And I can't wait to talk his I can't wait to get into the promo of his because god damn, that was probably one of the best promos certainly of Macklin. I've heard from Macklin TNA. Not that he's like a bad promo, he's a really good promo. But I had tweeted out that a heel Steve Macklin is what I want to see, and that was a scathing pro though last night. I loved how he said what did he say? He said like Daria is like the best thing in the business, or he really went out there and kind of like hammered it home. It was very over the top heelish.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then
yeah,
especially his apology to Tom. This
yeah. That
feud,
that,
and I
that
hope
cracked me up.
but just real quick, before you get back, I hear from you again. I really think that this feud should not be one match. Like I would like to see Macklin take the title, but I don't see this match being a one and done because I do see Santana winning at Sacrifice.
Yeah, it's I'm glad you brought that up because now it's kind of like a tricky subject because like is this going to continue or is this like a one and done? Because like here's the thing, like right after Sacrifice, another 2 weeks later is the Rebellion pay per view, and it'll be interesting, like what leads to what kind of leads to that. But as far as like yeah, Macklin, I feel like yeah, he's there's kind of more layers to there's more layers to like this new attitude, this new heel, and our buddy Mike Gilbert brought this up, like this is it feels like Macklin's finally actually it feels like he's actually being himself character wise, like he has more leeway because being a baby face is not being a baby face, it's not that easy. I mean, it's not that easy, of course, like especially when you gotta like get the right support from the crowd and stuff. Of course, being a heel, like you can just be an asshole. It's pretty easy and stuff. But yeah,
It,
it's gonna
exactly.
be interesting how sacrifice turns out. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I'm with all you guys, who are Macklin fans. I mean, I think it's long overdue he gets another title reign, but at the same time, Santana just won it, and I mean, Santana just won it and stuff, and like so yeah, it's a pretty interesting situation. But I mean, but it's also interesting too because like that's what makes that's what like wrestling about, the unpredictability and stuff.
That he did just win it, and I agree with you. The unpredictability about it, that's one of the elements that does make wrestling what it is. That's kind of why I'm looking up real quick, but just to see how many days he is at officially. That's why I don't think that he loses it on Saturday. On Sacrifice. I think that they hold it off for a bigger moment. I don't know, just kind of hit me as we're talking. I would love to see them kind of run it back the storyline. Remember IO when they did that angle with I believe it was MVP and Dixie Carter for the control of the company.
Yeah,
And I think Bobby Roode was involved. And like if he would have won for Dixie, he would have got like 10% share of the company. So
that's
I could
correct.
see them similarly running it back. If like let's say Macklin loses, then we go into an angle where they run it back. If Macklin wins, not only is he the champion, but Santino is out, you know what I mean, for control of the company. Because like I really think that it's going to involve, I think they're going to involve that, you know what I mean. Daria's like, because I think Macklin's a Daria. She's part of Daria's camp, you know what I mean. And I think that we're going to like see more of that, like people like kind of like align with her because I don't think Santino's long for this role, and I think that it's gonna come into play soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be interesting, how we kind of handle this whole back and forth between Santino and Daria. Um, but that is a good suggestion too. Like of like yeah, a good callback to the Dixie Carter area and stuff.
Real quick, Santana's at 57 days. His first reign was 32. So technically, if he lost at Sacrifice, this would be an improvement. He would double his first reign. But I do think that if he was to lose it at Rebellion, I think you can call this a successful reign just because, you know what I mean? Like people, we always talk about this. People gotta kind of make up what their minds a little bit. Like, do you like short reigns? Do you not like long title reigns? You know what I mean? I'm not saying people need to have 2-3+ year reigns, you know what I mean? But I don't think someone being champion for 100 days should be looked at as a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like a slight, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not everyone is going to be, you know what I mean? So I don't think
yeah,
it'd be, I know people would get upset if he lost it, but I think it's Macklin's time.
yeah. True, true. I mean, let's put it this way: if he was still like a one-time champion from like when he went at Bound for Glory, I don't think people would be upset. It's just the fact, like he just kind of wanted back after Frankie, and here we are in March. But yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean that's the thing. Sometimes it's okay to do hot potato title switches, which I think that's where the route for the knockouts title is going to be going soon. But yeah, it's just
And
I mean it just makes it interesting.
and personally, I don't think Santana's going anywhere. I think that he's been very open about his struggles and stuff like that. I think that the TNA kind of schedule and like works for I couldn't see him going to a WWE or certainly back to AEW. So I don't think that if he loses his title, people should look at that as, oh, Santana's gone. Because I really don't see him going anywhere, at least for like the next couple of years. I know that's, I don't have any source on that. That's just my opinion, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into, because before we talked at last night's show, and again, we're going to break down everything. It was a stack show. There's, I think, quite a bit of news to kind of talk about, like around the world of wrestling, not just TNA. We'll start with the first one. I think a lot of people saw today's TNA fans because it's TNA related. Candice Michelle is officially signed to TNA. I believe you said as an agent, Io? Is it?
She said she was doing agent work, according to her Instagram. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll start with you, Io. What was your take on this one when you saw the announcement?
I kind of I kind of figure it was happening. Like they keep inviting her to do. I mean, she's been at the shows recently. She did a meet and greet, and she's been helping up around and stuff. What I think about her, that's the thing. Like she's kind of been out of the business for too long, for so long and stuff. I mean, like she was kind of like, yeah, she was. I mean, she was, she was in sorry, sorry, the Divas era, and she's a former, Playboy cover, the GoDaddy commercials and all that stuff. Former women's champion and stuff. I mean, also I like Candice. I always thought she was good on a good talent and stuff. It's fortunate, the injuries, caught up to her and stuff. But as far as the talent wise, working backstage is kind of interesting. Um, Apparently she's done the knockouts matches right now and stuff. Uh, from good feedback I hear and stuff. So yeah, I think she just kind of basically be like an agent for knockouts. Originally, what Gail was a couple years back before she got
Mhm.
promoted, so to speak. The same with Jazz. I mean, I think I wouldn't say she's kind of taking Gail or Jazz's job. I think she's kind of like starting at a entry level, so to speak, right now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So we're
Well,
just got to see. I mean, the least the good things out of she's fresh. I think that's kind of what TNA is trying to
yeah.
do right now, like bringing fresh people. And before anyone says like, oh, like this is who they're replacing Gail and blah blah blah, blah all that stuff. No, they're just kind of like trying to find fresh faces and fresh perspectives. Like every company does that. So
Yeah, people can't ask for a facelift and creative in the way things do things without involving fresh faces. You know what I mean? So they had to interject some new life in there. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So yeah, like again, maybe I might have pushed back. I'm not too familiar with Candice. I wasn't watching WWE at the time. I didn't really see the fit here, but yeah, no, like the way that you just put it perfectly, Io. She's kind of coming in the entry level, but still it's a new perspective in the locker room, you know what I mean? So I don't see how that could be a bad thing if you look at it from that perspective.
yeah. Because I mean, yeah,
And,
because at the end of the day, sometimes you're gonna need fresh people and fresh minds. That's what we say on the creative board, or like like when it comes to like, hey, we need more people, new people, and all that stuff. So.
mm-hmm. Exactly. Okay, next we're going to move into a little bit more TNA news. It was also reported this week that AJ Francis has also kind of re-signed with TNA through 2026, I believe. And man, that's a big win for me. And I think TNA fans should look as a complete win, because if this guy was to retire today, I think people would say that, you know what I mean, he would go into the Hall of Fame wearing a TNA jersey, just because I think he's really turned himself into, a commodity in TNA, and just in terms of, people are wanting to sign this guy. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's proven.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not even going to utter the FD nickname. You know what I mean? I won't have it. You know what I mean? Anytime I see that word, I'm not going to say it because he doesn't deserve that. This guy's absolutely fucking killing it in TNA. So I hope that with this re-signing, that means that I believe you said it, Io, this guy, I want to see a big push for this guy. And, suddenly, if you think about it, this main event scene in TNA is really hot right now. Really hot.
Definitely. Super happy that AJ, sticking around. Um, like you mentioned, so many people wanted to kind of write him off, keep bringing up the whole botch and top dollar and all that stuff. But yeah, credit to him. He's a grinder. That's what I also like about him. He's a grinder. He's a self promoter, promotes his stuff, promotes his stuff, does charity and all that, and also helps promote TNA as we can as much as he can and stuff. And he really did. Yeah, he really did. Kind of. Everything, like the thing with AJ, everything you give him, he's gonna make it work and make it work. Kind of put his own spin and whatnot, and I think that's pretty admirable too. So yeah, glad he's sticking around. I mentioned this in our group chat. I think eventually we might need to probably consider him at some point, maybe a possible contender for international or world title contention, because I feel like if someone's capable for the opportunity, I think AJ might be one of them. What do you think?
Yeah, just because if you kind of look, if you were to stand back and look at it from the outside in, you know what I mean? Like if this was 80s, 90s, you're like, man, why isn't this guy the world champ? You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I do think just because again he's very different from everyone else in that division. He's really the only powerhouse. Moose is still there, but AJ's a little bit younger and not unproven, but they haven't explored pushing him that high. So he's definitely someone I think that they do need to elevate into that main event scene, because the matches he could have with an Ali and a Trey, and we've seen him have matches with Leon and Cedric, I believe. Yeah, they definitely need to push him, you know what I mean, as far as they can, because I think definitely he could be somebody that would get a lot of eyes on them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it'll be a nice fresh challenge or so. Like here's this guy, went from being laughed at or so, in top dollar. Here he is thriving in another company, and he's outshining, his outshine some guys in the roster. So from a character standpoint, I mean, sometimes in rings too, he's that good. But yeah, shout out to AJ Francis.
Definitely, he's earned. He's kind of like this new era of guys like I think Cardona kind of led the way, kind of showing that you don't need WWE. It's not doom and gloom when you get released from there. Like AJ's really went out there and again proving he's a commodity and he doesn't need the WWE behind him. You know what I mean? It's him doing it. So yeah, good for AJ. He deserves everything he gets. So yeah, I would love to see this guy in the main event scene because I think he's completely earned it. Okay. Next, we're going to move into a little NXT news, just because I don't know. I think it was interesting. We've been talking about it. Our for now TNA Knockouts World Champion Ariana Grace. They seem to have a new stable going on right now. Birthright, I believe, is the name, and it's interesting because while it seems like they've totally abandoned the NXT Outlaws or whatever they had with before. You know what I mean? If they were to roll in with this group, while I still not think it's the best group, again, I do think this is a little more interesting. You know what I mean? Than even though I do like Tyson and Tyreek when they were around, I would like to see them again. But this is an interesting stable. You know what I mean? It's like a legacy type. You know what I mean? We got all second generation wrestlers. But I'm interested in this just because you would think just with that name, and then obviously Ariana has ties to Santino being her daughter, obviously, you would think that they would probably run this they would probably be in TNA at some point. They'd probably do something with this.
Yeah, but then the thing is, like, I'm not sure if like if we need it, like what I mean, like the
No,
TNA
no.
viewers. So exactly, and I've been thinking about this for a while. Like like I mean, this is not their fault. Obviously, it's the way NXT is presented now. Like some of these guys, they barely get on TV time and get enough screen time and whatnot. Uh, now they're just kind of like getting their footing in. So uh, so yeah, basically yeah, no brains about it. It's basically like a Timu legacy legacy group,
And
like
here's the
yeah,
thing, I know
like a
this
Timo
isn't.
yeah.
No, that's spot on. That no, this is yeah. This is bad. You know what I mean? Like I would, yeah, that's pretty spot on. And I honestly, what I would say too is I think it's a combination of things that this isn't the NXT of a year ago when NXT could send like they were sending Oba or Javon or JC, to NXT. NXT's to TNA. The NXT is very depleted right now, and a combination of right now TNA being so hot and NXT being not. I think that NXT having the top women's title is kind of a negative at this point. Like, because I don't think anyone would push back. I don't think TNA needs NXT at this point. I don't think they ever
Right
really
now,
did.
no.
Except
Right now,
yeah,
no. No.
no.
I mean, look at I'm not, again not a shot at NXT, but look at where they are now. Like they lost some of their top guys. Right now,
Hmm.
they're just kind of like rebuilding the roster. Uh, as of this week, they're all their PLEs are off Peacock, and Stand and Deliver is going to be on YouTube from what I hear. So it's just kind of like I mean, it's just kind of like right now if I'm TNA, I'm thinking like, yeah, you guys go handle your business. We don't need you right now. Like just give us back our knockouts title, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. That's just kind of how it feels. And like with this birthright group, as we mentioned, like right now, like we don't even know if this group's gonna last. Like that's the unfortunate part for
Hmm.
them stuff. And I mean, I think some of them are talented. Charlie Dempsey especially, and so. But I think it's like, because like if it doesn't get over, then like what was the point of this? What was the point of putting the belt on Ariana and stuff? You know what I'm saying? That's just kind of how it feels. So NXT just needs to get their shit together. Like from all I'm talking about from all aspects, not just the main storylines and stuff. So, but yeah, my thoughts on the Birthright group. No brain about it. It's the last chance for a certain few members of the roster, especially Stacks. Like this group got to get over, but hope so. Good luck to them. So,
You know
but
what's funny?
yeah, continue.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry. Continue on.
No,
No,
you go.
what I was going to say, Io, and this is interesting because I believe you saw as well that David Finley, I believe, was offered it was to go to NXT, and I believe that they wanted him to be the leader of this group. I believe obviously he turned that down. He's in
Yeah,
AAW now. I wonder if because of that, because it feels right now that Ariana is the leader. Now, if David Finley signed there, obviously I don't think Ariana would be the leader, and that's no disrespect to her. But I wonder if because Finley didn't sign there, they kind of have to keep the belt on her for right now, even though it's not their belt, because like you know what I mean? Because without that, I don't see why she would be the lead. You know what I mean? Because technically she is the most winningest person in that group as of right now. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like I wonder if Finley not signing there is kind of changed plans a little bit because obviously Ariana does come off as the leader, seeming from the promo that she cut on Tuesday.
I don't think they have a leader. But mostly yeah,
Okay.
her or Lexis King. They're just doing the talking. Yeah. David Finley kind of they WWE kind of let's just say like had he came over there, they probably would have put him in the group there too. So him going over to AEW kind of like puts them in a little tricky situation. Like, oh well, no David Finley. Oh, what's this? So, what's gonna happen with this group and stuff? But I think having William Regal and Fit Finley come over there last Tuesday was a kind of help, kind of let viewers know how serious they are. I would think with this group, and the purpose of her Ariana having the belt is just to kind of at least add a little prestige to the group or some sort. But again, that depends on how much committed NXT really is. So we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, because it's not like they're even doing anything with it on the TNA front. Like, obviously, we're going to get into it. They had Ariana attack Indy, but it's not like they dropped the storyline with her dad. But like, you even heard how Daria kind of praised her being champ. But like, the belt does need to be back in TNA just because it's not really doing anything for TNA. Again, like I'm saying, just NXT isn't what it was. So it's like we really don't need them to have any of our belts right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you think about it,
Like
I think
she don't need the belt for this group. Like, because
a
we
lot of
don't even
people
we don't even know if
who
this
would
group's going to be a success or a flop. So, but again, I believe that's NXT to deal with it. So.
I bet you a lot of people in NXT would rather be wrestling in TNA right now. You know what I mean? NXT is not, again, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
what it was. You know, those
they're
shows are
getting
not what it was. So
they're getting more screen time on TNA than they are NXT. Yeah.
exactly. Okay, before we get into the show, anything else that you wanted to get into just before we get
So yeah, I
into?
was just basically, yeah, TNA is just kind of like solving NXT's mid carders problems, which just kind of bugs me. So yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
it's really interesting where the wrestling landscape has gone because when NXT was really hot, the black and gold era, that was pretty much a lot of those guys that cut their teeth in Ring of Honor. There was Ring of Honor going, a lot of those guys going. This is before AEW going to NXT. You know what I mean? And that's kind of when NXT was. They really were different than the main roster. But now, obviously with Ring of Honor being under the AEW umbrella, it's just like you really see NXT kind of take a hit. So that's why I think too now it's kind of NXT that needs TNA and not the other way around, that people thought that TNA needed NXT /
exactly.
WWE, because without TNA they really don't have much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean that's also a good thing about a partnership. Like both brands, both sides can need each other. But right now, I think we're good at the moment from TNA side. But yeah, NXT, like I mentioned, like they just lost their talents. They don't have
Mhm.
they're bankrupt out of ideas, as our buddy as our buddy. Oh no, no, sorry. That was a tweet he retweeted. Yeah, WWE's clearly bankrupt right now. Oh yeah, shout out to Shane on the chat saying
Yeah, yeah.
he's gonna catch up on Impact later. So yeah, WWE they have a lot of issues, especially creative ideas, and right now they're just kind of like using TNA's championships and all that stuff to kind of like help them out. So that's kind of how it is right now. But
Well, I
yeah,
get
my
out
my,
right now.
my last thoughts on this Birthright group. Um, yeah, hopefully it lasts. I doubt it, but we'll see. So
And it's funny to all you NXT WWE fans. Who's the NXT champion again right now? Oh, it's Joe Henry, a TNA guy.
oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean? So
how
it's
can I
like
forget? How can I forget? Yeah, yeah.
come on, you guys.
One of the
Like,
one of the
obviously,
biggest
that you
guys,
guys
one
do.
of the biggest talents from this crossover is now the XT champion, of course. Yeah,
It's almost like that. Yes, they were like introducing him to that audience because they knew that they were exactly. Okay. Before we get into this week's last night's episode, I just want to remind everyone this week's podcast is sponsored by Shroom Bar, the protein mushroom bar. It's made of not psychedelics, but 4 powerful mushroom adaptogens. It has lines made which increases focus, memory, and neuroplasticity, making it easier to form new patterns and learn new things. Next time you're trying to learn that new move, it might actually stick in your head rather than forgetting it immediately. It has quadriceps, which increases VO2 max, blood flow, and overall endurance. It has reishi, which decreases stress. It has turkey tail, which boosts your immune system. And we all know you're going to need that when you're in those nasty ass gym mats. On top of that, it's 12 grams of protein. Go to eatshroombar.com and use code BODYSLAM at checkout for 25% off your first order. Okay, we're going to continue with the trend around here, which I'm really feeling it. We're going to go with start with the biggest moment of the night and then work our way back. And I don't think anyone watching last night would disagree with us. We're going to start with the debut of Ricky Sosa.
Man,
And my God, shout out to Io real quick because I want him to start. A couple weeks ago, Io was like, man, I've been listening to this theme song. It's catchy. It's going to be like stuck in everyone's head. I went and listened to it, and it's stuck in my head. God damn, they got to sign this guy. Dude, I didn't realize 21, 6'4". This is like when they would say back, this is a blue chip prospect. You know what I mean? They got to lock this guy down. You know what I mean? Like this is,
yeah.
They, and this is what me and I were talking about. There's so much talent over there. Bio, what did you think about this? From the song to the presentation, they were knocked out of the park with this one.
You said it yourself. Like the dude's just 20. Look at him. The dude's just 21, and yeah, Belgian wrestler. He's not even that like short of a guy. He's actually that tall. When you saw him when you saw him in last night, tall, very agile. Like those are the type of talent that they need kind of like to add to the roster. Like you got the Leon Slaters, the Ricky Sosas, other young talents like the Treys, the Jason Hodges, the BDEs and stuff. It's like keep adding that to your roster. So, but yeah, I did. I also mentioned our group chat like wrestler's theme song of the year is gonna go to Ricky Sosa because yeah, that song's been in my. I was just listening to it just now, the day after that, and the day after that. It's it's that catchy, man. And shout out to the Atlanta crowd. Like they understood the assignment. Like
That's
they
something
really
that's
did.
really
Yeah.
real quick. I was going to say that's something that's really missing in wrestling now. Like especially like WWE. Just for example, you always hear one of the things is like there's no recognizable themes anymore. Like everyone sounds the same, and like yeah, like the Sosa's theme is very much a part of like the whole presentation of him. So yeah, it's so catchy. I really hope that if he signs with TNA, they keep that because yeah, that song is the crowd participates in it. It's so good.
Hmm. Hmm. And the funny thing is, like, I bet you nobody even know what they're saying. Nobody knows what they're saying in the song and like that. Hey, that's the good thing about music today in some sort. Like, look at Bad Bunny. Like I listen to Bad
Thank
Bunny,
you,
but
thank you.
yeah, I was gonna bring him up because it's a good example. Like, I don't even. I mean, like his songs are so catchy, like you don't even know the whole lyrics and stuff. But like that's the beauty thing. Sometimes a catchy song is good enough, no matter what. Like if it's hard to understand the lyrics. So with Ricky Sosa, it's just like, man, you're just kind of like vibing to it, and then of course to get to the bang bang Sosa Sosa. So yeah, that's just how it is. So
All people,
oh yeah,
catchy
continue.
hook, man. So I was just gonna say, you said it best. How it's like music translates. Like it doesn't matter the language, and like you know what I mean. Like all you need is like an infectious hook like that. Even if you don't understand the rest of the song, you know what I mean. They know enough that's gonna get people hyped. You know what I mean. So I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah, 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 and
What
like
did you think? Sorry, I was just gonna say, what did you think of it? I want you to hear what you were about. Just finish what you're. I wanted to hear what you're saying, but I was going to ask you, what did you think about the match? I thought that was a very good presentation for him.
well, the match, yeah, it was very good. Yeah, it was good. We got to see what he could bring to the table. Uh, I like what Ray Raw was mentioning. Like, so like he wants to kind of like show the audience like he's not just an entrance. Like he can actually go and he can go. I just seen some of his European matches recently. As I mentioned, very agile guy. He can do a moonsault, springboard. His Blue Thunder Bomb finisher is pretty neat. So yeah, the wrestler world need to keep an eye on this dude if they're not already. And he's gonna be in Vegas for WrestleMania week for like the indies and all that stuff. But yeah, now to the bigger question. TNA, what are we gonna do about this guy? Well, I will say that before I'll let you say he's been since they advertised him to be in Vegas. He's been advertised all over. Like you go on the front page of the website, there his face is on there. Uh, yeah, if you go on TNA, if you go on the TNA website, yeah, he's pretty much everywhere on the website and stuff. And Carlos Silva himself even said like we got to keep an eye on this guy. So even Tommy Dreamer tweeted like you got wrestlers praising this guy. Like that just kind of tells me like he's on everybody's radar, and I think there's a very good chance that TNA is working, either if they have already or who knows. Um, I would assume like they already talked about trying to lock him, and we're just kind of waiting for an announcement. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, he fits the archetype of the type of talent we are screaming TNA to really go after. You know, these young, hungry wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this guy's 21, been in the business. I couldn't believe it was like 4 years. They said I was like, God damn, he started young, man. But this is the kind of talent they got to get. They got to lock down.
Yeah, like whatever visa problem he has to deal with or whatnot, like it,
Yeah,
whatever. Do what you got to do just to lock this guy.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then obviously
I mean,
invest.
he don't even need to be at all the shows. I mean, we're not sure if he's going to be in New Orleans, in a couple weeks. But I'm just saying, like, when he's ready to kind of like commit to more American venues and whatnot, like, it's got to be on our side.
Definitely.
Because
And
like
then
the truth of the matter is, and you know this, Bird, this is a greedy business. This is a greedy business.
Mhm.
Like you got WWE being greedy, AEW being greedy. Like TNA gotta find some way to be greedy on their own side. So I'll give them props that they took advantage immediately. Like they saw they pay attention. Like this guy was making noise, online, with this entrance and stuff, and then they took advantage to say, let's see what this kid's about, and they brought him in. They halted him from doing the one of those tournaments in WXW to come here and yeah. So it would seem like yeah they're highly invested on this dude. So again, fingers crossed.
yeah, I'm with you, man. I was they have to lock this guy down just because I was so that was my first time seeing him and I'm already a fan. So and I was just like blown away just the pedigree already at such a young age. This he's got it. So and hasn't even reached obviously his peak, his prime. You know what I mean? There's so much room to grow. So yeah, I hope TNA is able to get him. Okay. Next, so we're going to start with we're going to go back to the beginning now. Start with the go segment by segment. We're going to open up with the show opened up with the Hardys, man, taking on my new favorite tag team, Sinner and Saint. And let me just say, I don't know what's changed in the last 6 months, or like actually really like last 2 months, but it seems like they've really locked down how to present these guys, like how to show them. But for a while they were just a tag team with Josh or with Eric. It seems like they're really getting behind these guys. And man, the way like their entrance, the way that Icarus kind of falls into Travis Williams, the Sinner and the Saint, these guys are really smooth in the ring. And obviously they didn't win, but I think that they gave them a lot the last couple of weeks to where, okay, I think that Sinner and Saint are gonna be where the great hands are now by next year, like one of the top tag teams. But yeah, I really like this match. I thought that they looked really good against the Hardys.
Yeah, I'm glad this kicked off. And this was a good opportunity for Sinner and Saint to kind of really show where they are in the tag division. Kind of being able to to see if they can hang with the tag champs themselves. A lot of mutual respect, obviously. Good sequence, because for a while they were kind of like directionless, to be honest, after the Northern Armory and stuff. And everyone's high on this tag team. Even Mike Santana himself kind of keeps praising them. So it's kind of to see. It was nice to see them put in this position. Yeah, and then credits to the Hardys. Now they're innovating and stuff. Jeff. winning the match with this new submission. I forgot what it's called and stuff, but yeah, it just kind of shows like and also yeah, this kind of shows that the Hardys like they're willing and able to kind of like work with fresher teams, to kind of like see if they can see if they can hang, or adapt towards the newer teams. Oh, it's called the Spinal Destination, new his new finisher. And I thought it was
Okay,
funny. I thought it was funny. After the match was over. Jeff ended up hitting the swanton anyway for good measure.
yeah, that didn't seem very babyface, but okay.
I guess that's what I thought. I guess yeah. I mean, yeah, really. I guess you got to get the people what they want. Like people came to see
Yeah,
Jeff,
you do.
but yeah, it's funny. It's
And
and then it
I
was
did
funny.
like to
Like
mention,
they shook their hands after, but that was funny too.
I did like that just because it's kind of like the Hardys recognizing these guys too is okay. Uh, this is one other one to keep your eyes on. You know what I mean? Getting that Hardy endorsement is huge for any tag team, any young tag team. So yeah, that was good. So I would like to see them maybe run this one back, but definitely more Sinner and Saint, please.
Yeah,
Okay, next we're just going to move into an Elegance brand segment. And man, I love these because it's not just them giving Maggie more screen time. I don't know why it entertains me, but just Mr. Elegance just kind of standing there doing nothing and flexing the whole time. It's just I don't know why I find it funny. Like you know what I mean? Like he does his role very well. But this was a cool segment just because for you old school TNA fans, we got the return of Goldilocks, and I'll lean on you for this one. This is was she during the Asylum years?
during the asylum years,
Okay.
from '02 to '04. Yeah. So yeah, so for guys who might not know Goldilocks, she's a very talented. Her name's Moon Shadow, by the way. Very talented performer, uh, on screen and stuff. Also a very talented singer. Uh, she's I won't I'm not really don't know much of her music career, but like she's very good. She has some albums. She still performs. If you want to go follow her and stuff. Uh, but yeah, for TNA, yeah, she was a good comedic, entertaining heel, valet, whatnot, interviewer. They had her they had to do her doing everything there from interviewer to valet. I think she even wrestled for a little bit of stuff, but if you want to go back, watch some of her silent stuff. And yes, if here's a good story, she was actually the manager. She was actually a manager of a very certain TNA Hall of Famer. You want to take a guess?
Was it during '02 between '02 and '04?
Yeah, he wears a mask.
Oh, Abyss.
Abyss. Yeah,
That's
she
interesting. I did not know
long.
that.
Yeah, I know. Long before Fighter James Mitchell, she was a manager
Okay.
of Abyss. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's way cool. Okay, yeah, damn, I did not know that.
yeah,
I've slowly been going back to watching those shows. You know what I mean, like those early years. And yeah, that's way cool.
yeah. And I did mention she's a very talented singer. She's done some numerous entrance themes. Uh, s- um, Brooke Tessmacher's music. Winter, Katie Lee
Okay,
Burchill.
that's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Uh, Dixie Carter's theme song. Yeah, and
Okay, that's dope.
yeah, and the very famous Tara Victoria's theme song, "Broken."
Okay,
Yep, that's her
that's
voice. Yeah,
those are all good ones. Damn, I did not know that. Those are all
yeah,
bangers,
yeah,
especially Winton's.
yeah. I know. Yeah. So yeah,
That's really cool.
her appearing. Yeah, her appearing. Last night that was a little shock and surprising. I mean, but yeah, it's also a clue adds to the storyline what's going on with the Elegance brand because I'm actually intrigued with what's going on. Like it seems like they're angering like TNA originals, knockouts originals, and stuff. I'm kind of curious, like where do we think we're going to this? What's your thoughts so far on this beef the
When
Elegance brands have with these alumni? Yeah,
when you put it that way, I'm really interested to see who they bring back. Like I would love to see like Awesome Kong come back or Tara. Um, yeah, like I like this Elegance brand kind of versus the history of the Knockouts division. They could do a lot with that, and again, it's going to be interesting to who else they see, like who else they'll bring back.
yeah. Oh yeah, shout out to Antonio. She also managed Alex Shelley at one
Oh
point.
shit. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you. I mean, I would say like if you guys haven't seen some of the silent era stuff, I would recommend like it gives you a little good perspective like where TNA was earlier in the day and stuff. But yeah, I agree. I'm curious like who they're bringing in. I mean, obviously ODB, Mickey James. That's two. They need to bring in someone to kind of even the odds, but we'll figure that out later. So it obviously this leading to a Ash and Mickey feud. I would assume by Rebellion. That's probably the reason why we haven't seen Ash in some time. ODB, I'm sure if she's going to be sticking around. We'll probably see. But I did laugh when Mr. Elegance he thought he had one over a Goldilocks say like weren't you here when I was like 4 years old? And then like she clapped back.
Yeah.
I'm like, first off, like that's not nice. You know what I mean? Obviously she's an older woman. I'm like, no, but she clapped back at him saying that sit down, let the grown ups talk and stuff. Yeah,
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 because yeah, like I think Maggie's a little bit younger than him, so like yeah, like that was very, you know what I mean. They were being like hella rude, you know what I mean. Like that was very funny.
yeah.
So
I'm
I am
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah. I'm
kind of rolling with the
curious.
story right now,
Yeah, I'm curious where this goes from here. But yeah, yeah, good to see Goldilocks. Yeah, a lot of just nice
especially
to
you have
see like
Goldilocks managing the veteran team
yeah, it's nice to see a little mix of like asylum era nostalgia and whatnot. Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I like it, you know what I mean, just because again, this company's been around for 20 plus years, so the history is very rich, you know what I mean.
exactly.
So that's what's kind of cool. And we're gonna get into more into history later with the next segment. And I think you guys know what I'm talking about, but that that was definitely a real fun one later when we talk about it. But next we're gonna get into just a quick matchup. It was Indy Hartwell taking on the returning Kelsey Heather. We've seen her a few times. She's definitely impressive the time she's been in TNA. She's another one that just I think they should just sign, you know what I mean? Just because I know they only have one show. I think we are heading towards when they're going to start doing more. I would hope with Explosion, but she's just. I thought this was fine. You know what I mean? Like Indy got the win. Indy is looking it's improving. You know what I mean? I think it's just because there's not more. There's not so much pressure on her now. But yeah, this was a fine match.
I agree. Kelsey Header, they've brought her in they've brought her in a couple times. She's another name I forgot to bring up. Like they keep bringing her in. Obviously they like her. So I'm trying to think like what's missing. Like if they're not locking her in, not yet, or maybe there's not a spot for her, who knows. But yeah, yeah. Hopefully we see more of her later. But yeah, she had a good match with Indy. Or say Indy had a good match with her. Uh, and I agree with you. Like it's good that she's not in the title. Well, she technically is now in the title picture, but she can at least kind of like focus on building up like so it doesn't feel like it's force as it did like prior because like usually when these ex WWE talents they come in like I'm here to win the knockouts title blah 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 they get pushed for a little bit and then the title match comes and blah 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 and stuff and then Ash not winning apparently Ash was supposed to beat Jordan I think according to Tommy Dreamer but thankfully that didn't happen like because it felt like Ash needed to really kind of earn her shot, which she did eventually. The same has to apply with Indy, or at least the direction. Uh, Our buddy Antonio says Kelsey Header, Rachel A. She's a former cheerleader as Header, and Rachel is a former gymnast in college. They both need to be signed by TNA. I agree. Oh yeah, Rachel
Yeah,
A. Yeah, Rachel A.
she's another one.
She faced Tessa a couple weeks back. Yeah, her too. Yeah, some
This is
younger.
why.
Continue.
Oh yeah, continue. I'm sorry.
No. You continue. You continue.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say this is why I really think that TNA needs to. They need a second show, whether that's making Explosion that show or something different. But like, I would really like to see it kind of resemble like AEW Dark, because if for people who remember that show, yeah, it was a lot of like lower talent, but their Moxley would be on there. Like you had bigger stars on there, but the purpose of for it was like for them to really like, bring in talent that they had their eyes on, before they were just signing everybody. That's really like the people that you saw in there, if you could follow the pattern, if they kept coming back, they were eventually going to be signed. But yeah, they really do need a second hour of TV, because that's when I think that they would really need, and then they could just start signing a lot of these talents like Rachel Lee, Kelsey Heather, because that's where you get them reps. You know what I mean? Like they really need to do something with
Hopefully,
Explosion.
hopefully once we're further into this AMC deal, like AMC request for another show, so we'll see. Uh, yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Indy, she's kind of earning her contendership. So she again claims like she's coming after the title, calls out Ariana Grace, Ariana, you know with her big mouth and stuff, saying that like Indy, you're not even on my level, and yeah, Indy clap back saying like I'm way above you, and blah 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 and stuff. So yeah, it seems like they're on a collision course. I mentioned about like the Knockouts title division situation, like so. Danny Luna still doesn't have her title shot yet. Lane leads the former champion. Jody Thread just got her title shot last week. Tessa Blanchard was on commentary last week. I mean, and Elena Black. I know it's very getting heavy, but like it feels like we need to kind of like get some construction here, like who gets the title shot first and next and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
But
I like how the division is, but just they need to become construction. Do you agree?
I agree with that, but it just really made me smile, all those names that you named, because this is such a better division in the top than it was when it was really just Jordan, Deanna, and then just Jordan, because look how many people they're building up. There's contenders everywhere, and none of them are weak contenders. You know what I mean? Like everyone has a claim to the title. You know what I mean? It's very like 97 WWE, WWF ish, where there's a
I
lot of
mean,
people
yeah,
who want the
it's
title.
what we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, they're building up so many people, like, and like, you know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of options where they could go. So, man, yeah, it's really, really hot right now. That they've done a stellar job really retooling this division.
Yeah.
Like you people could say like obviously, and it took them a while. Like, you could argue that says there's more talent in the AEW's women's division, but there's no better women's division in the States than TNA. You know what I mean? They prove it week in and week out with the way that they book this whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, next we're going to move into, goddamn, was this the match of the night for me? And that's saying something, because the main event was a fucking banger. It was BDE, Rich Swann, and Trey Miguel taking on Ali looked like a guy who just won the title as a heel, came out the next night with a new haircut and a suit. Man, this guy looks like he's about to be world champion soon. Yeah, it was Order 4, Jason Hodge, John Scott, and Mustafa Ali. New song, new look for Order 4 for Ali. Man, like I said, this was fat. This resembled a trios match, what you would see in AEW or like in Mexico. Like this was fast paced. You know what I mean? Like everyone was getting a lot of key spots. Trey did that move where he fucking runs, slides on his knees, and then does like a somersault flip to the, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I forget who he hit
Great.
with it, but
You mean the Canadian destroyer?
yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah,
You had BDE just continuing to get better. There
yeah,
were moments where it was Trey and Ali, which give me that match, man. Like, oh, Hotch and Hotch and Skylar continue to look like fucking beasts out there. They're so good and so underrated. Man, this was a good match. Again, I hate saying I want more belts, but I would love a trios division in TNA. Hell, I would make it intergender too,
yeah,
just because
yeah,
TNA's done very well at intergender wrestling. But
yeah.
yeah, this was a good match. Great match.
Honestly, I think you might have a good case. At this point, it don't matter if we have a smaller roster. I think we would do well with a trios championship or mixed championship or whatever. But yeah. I said this many times. Anytime order fours in a match is gonna be a banger. Like they really have good chemistry. Mustafa, Hotch, Skylar, Tasha, and even Special Angel Zero. Like they're all TNA found gold. Like kind of putting it all together. Like every segment they kill every segment, every feud, and every match. And this was a no brainer. Uh, I'm gonna get to them in a few, but yeah, you mentioned BDE. I think it's a good thing. Yeah, he's been getting more matches, more TV time, like because not only they want to grow his um not only he has a following, like they want to sorry his following, they want to take advantage of that, but also kind of like also help the guy grow. He just started wrestling I think last year and stuff, so and he's working there with good veterans. So yeah, the more he does it, the more he gets better. So yeah, I mean he had a good match with Nick Nemeth a while back. The matches he had with AJ Francis. So I think also pairing him with Swan was a good idea too. I call him all vibes. So yeah, and
No,
then Trey
this was a great thing putting him with Swan.
yeah. And yeah, Trey Miguel, he's finally finding his niche, he's break off from the Rascals, he's finally boosting his stock, on his own. So but yeah, this was a great trios match. Crowd was hot for her. Uh crowd was hot, yeah, crowd was hot for her. Everybody shined, everybody got their few minutes in and stuff. The most of us new look, I was a little I freaked out a little bit. I'm thinking like, no man, like why are you taking away your aura, your so to speak, with that long hair? Like that's the thing with some guys. Like when you lose the long hair, you kind of lose a little bit of aura. But when I look at it now, it looks pretty alright. You know what I mean? Like he still acts the same. I think he cut it for for some charity from what I hear. But still, I think he could make it work. So yeah, good sequence. Hodge and Skylar too. Yeah, as I mentioned, like they need to be tag team champions this year. I mean, we're gonna talk more about them, obviously, but I'm just gonna put that out there. Good sequence. Trey got the win, and then after the match, Mustafa had his hands on the international title. So it kind of seems like he's eyes setting on that title, so it should be interesting. Any thoughts?
Yeah, and you know what is interesting about that is if they have, let's say they have Macklin be the world champion, I definitely would then really want to see Ali be the international champion. You know what I mean? Just because, again, like they really need to keep building that belt up. But I definitely want to see Ali, hold gold again, especially now that it's him in order four. So yeah, I really want them to let's build to that match. That maybe a rebellion match. I think they could hold out even a little longer for that. But yeah, Ali versus Trey should be the mission soon. They got to build.
Yeah,
They got to really build to that.
it's basically their intercontinental title, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like it's a workhorse. I mean, that's kind of the X Division title, but now the international title is kind of a workhorse title too, in some aspect.
Hmm.
Like Steve Macklin did a good job with that belt. Now Trey Miguel is kind of follow along with that, and having
The cruiserweight, yeah.
continue, continue.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, like, but like I would, so yeah, like I think you're right. Like the international championship is definitely the mid card title, the intercontinental title. But like I always kind of thought of the X Division title similar to the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. You know what I mean? Like it's like their one B. You know what I mean? It's like the world title for, because I don't like calling them cruiserweights because the X Division's no limit. But you know what I mean? I don't think it makes the X Division title any like less prestigious. You know what I mean? With like a second mid card title.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Every title is important. Like world title means like you're the face of the brand. The X Division title is like the workhorse title. I mean, like you're the face of a division of a well respected division, and the international title is kind of like the traveling title. Like you defended on
Mm-hmm.
international places and stuff. So yeah.
Which they
Oh
definitely
yeah,
need to do more of that.
yeah.
Okay, next we're just going to move in because these segments kind of back to back. We just had Santino and Daria arguing. I like the stare down between Steve and Macklin in the hallway. We were just kind of told that if Santana touches Steve, he's stripped of the title. If Macklin touches Santana, he's fired again. So then we go right into, goddamn, this was probably the best. This was the best promo of Macklin's TNA career. He's a good promo, but this was fucking 5 stars. What a smug heel. You know what I mean? He like kind of comes out with a smile on his face. You know what I mean? Like really being over the top, campy in a way, just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like came off as just, you didn't believe what he was saying, but you did though. But like he comes out there, he kind of thanks Daria. I forget what he said, like just saying she's like the best in the locker room and the best in the business of what she does. Just really like hamming it up out there. But when it came to the way that when he looked at Tom, it was just, it was one of those things where he apologized, but he didn't apologize. Like I didn't write everything down because I was just in awe of it. But man, he killed this whole segment.
Yeah. Tom, you saw the look of Tom's face. He just like had that disgust. Like he didn't even want to hear it. He didn't even want to hear what Steve had to say. But yeah, that was this was a very good this was a very good segment. I mentioned earlier that I think Steve's finally back to like his niche. Like he's better. We always said that he's better as a heel anyway. Like you just get to like you just get to like do whatever you want, say whatever you want, tweet whatever you want, and yeah, he I mean he ain't lying about like he's seen worse managements and stuff, but yeah, can't mention yeah she took a shot at Santino saying he can't keep his family in check, and then he pays attention to Hannafin. Say like like if you were a man you would have taken that punch and like understand like bowing up to me wasn't the brightest idea and blah 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 and stuff. I mean like, he ain't lying to that degree like. And then when he paid here's where he hit the below the belt, like he said like he didn't need to bring up his personal life to get sympathy for the fans, taking a shot at Santana obviously, saying that he used the sobriety, and all that to kind of gain sympathy, blah blah blah. And yeah, mentioned like the last time he was world champion, backstage politics apparently kind of took that belt away from him, and he's been trying hard to kind of get back, and he had to go so far as to please the sympathy fans by obviously returning babyface, blah 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 and stuff. This was very good. Like it kind of hit a little some realism a little bit and stuff, but this was very good. And Santana, just listen. He's just up with the crowd, just having to listen to it. Like I'm excited for this match, man. Are you?
Dude, I cannot wait for this one just because the way that they built this feud has been so good. There's been so many like layers to it. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
from like when just the moment when Santana kind of turned his back on Macklin, walk out the door, and Macklin's heel turn. Yeah, and then the way that they've involved, Darian Santino into it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's very good. So again, that's why I keep saying I do not want it to stop after Sacrifice. I hope we get one more match at least after that. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
yeah. And credit to this credit to everyone building this whole field together and stuff. Michael even mentioned like he used Santana because he knew Santana would let his emotions kind of like get him to the point where he tell management to like rehire him and then get this title shot and then bam, like Mike right now is just falling into Steve's play so far, and that's just how it is. So, but yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this match coming up at Sacrifice.
Definitely. Okay, next we're going to move on to, and man, a lot of matches on this show, and that's not a bad thing at all. And let me just say, I'm glad that they have pivoted from the AJ and SD. I mean, Man's feud. They've already cooking up something else. It was AJ Francis taking on Elijah, and man, I think one of the themes in this for me is you have two. If they had this match in their previous spot, I don't think it would have been this good. Both these guys are doing their best work in TNA, and again, we preach all the time that that's nothing new here. We've
Absolutely.
seen that time and time again. You know what I mean? But again, I want them to run this one back because this was just like two guys. There was two powerhouse out there. You forget how Elijah's a pretty strong guy. And what was interesting, Kazarian was on commentary, and you mentioned how Tom didn't want to hear about it. Tom was taking none of Kazarian's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like Tom was like, "It's not a good night." Like he said something like that. But at one point in the match, I believe Elijah hit him with Francis with an Alabama slam. I was like, God damn, that was impressive. Elijah's a pretty powerful dude. Like AJ was able to get the win in this, which I like that because him resigning. I want to see them follow up, pushing him. But I don't expect this one to end anytime soon. I think definitely we're gonna get some more with this one, especially given the finish of Kazarian and AJ kind of attacking him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like you mentioned, yeah, both guys. They're having a good career rejuvenance. Right now. Uh, yeah, it seems like this is now kind of like a four-person feud. Like now, involving Elijah, AJ, Frankie, and now the hometown man. So gotta see where we're gonna go for this. Probably like a tag match, probably a sacrifice or whatnot. But this was some good stuff. Elijah doing like so like he does like the rope walk similar to the Undertaker, and then he does like Canadian Destroyer. I thought that was impressive. Good stuff. Frankie, of course, being a commentary, he was laughing at he was kind of laughing at Hannafin after what Steve said to him and stuff. But I know rubbing salt in the wound type of thing. But yeah, during on in the match, Elijah, he grabbed some water and then he threw it into Frankie's face, and then that caused Frankie to kind of leave the table and go distract Elijah, getting AJ to win. The beat down on the two. Here comes Atlanta's own hometown man, and then seems like next week it's gonna be Frankie versus the hometown man. So I expect AJ and Elijah to get involved too.
And yeah, I think that'll be a fun one. You know what I mean? Just because, again, the everyone involved in that can go. So that should be a good one.
Yeah.
Next, we just had Eric Young kind of calling out Leon Slater. We're going to get the title match at Sacrifice. I hope to God we finally get our answer to what the cleanse is. And if we don't, I'm afraid I'm going to be over Eric Young for a while just because I think this has gone long enough without any like concrete results. Like we need to see something. But I'm looking forward to that one just because Eric Young's a pro. He's incapable of having a bad match, and obviously Leon's Leon, you know what I mean? The guy is a star. So that
I'm
should be a good one.
I'm actually So I'm actually looking forward to this one. EY and Slater. Yeah. EY, he's very versatile. Versatile, not only character but also in ring. He can work with the best of them. And Leon, he's he's killing it right now. So I think this is gonna be interesting styles, which is what the
Definitely,
exhibition, which is what the exhibition is all about too. So
exactly,
yeah, New Orleans in for a treat with these big matches coming up.
definitely. Okay, next we're going to move on to what I think was everyone's favorite segment of the night. We took a trip back to Swingers Palace,
Yes.
and this segment was loaded with Easter eggs. My favorite being they kind of recreated like a similar Swingers Palace segment, but as many of you know, not a lot of people, it's the same people are still there. So my favorite one was, I think Rosemary asked, because usually Chris Sabin would say, I love this place. I don't know who said it last night, but Rosemary asked what
Hotch.
happened to the other guy. What'd you say?
Hotch.
Okay, yeah. Hodge says it, and then Rosemary says, "What happens to the other guy?" And I believe Swinger says, "Oh, we shipped him up north." And I was
Yeah.
dying laughing when he
Yeah.
said that. And then I believe he called somebody Terry Gordy. Swinger, I was this segment
Skyler.
was
He,
so
he calls
good.
Skyler. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, man,
this
I,
was
I'm
so
I'm
good.
glad I'm glad to see Swinger, man. Like
Yeah,
it felt like the Impact era again.
it
It
did.
felt like the Impact era again. Kind of like felt that coming all full circle. Like I mentioned, like full circle. Like we're in the TNA era, and now we got some Impact era sprinkles, some nostalgia Asylum era sprinkles. Like it just kind of felt good. But yeah, that was funny. Continue. Continue.
They had a new Swingerella. It kind of looked like Ryan Nemeth, but I don't, you know what I mean?
That was
That
Ryan. I won't say what the heck he was wearing, but that's.
Bravo was there, as the dealer like he always is. Swinger was in full form, but obviously,
I'm glad they.
just
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm glad they mentioned Rosemary and Bravo's history. Apparently, they
mhm,
just. Apparently now they just got the divorce papers. I guess. Dango was there. Yeah, he had the
that was
retired.
cool.
Yeah, that was funny.
And obviously, it led to the biggest surprise of the night. After Rosemary is granted a divorce, she mentions that she's only got a few more signatures left. They pan over and we get the return of Allie, the bunny. And she immediately went into her Allie character. I don't have any information if this is where they're going with this. Um, at first, I was like, I could take it or leave it, but once I saw Allie, I'm like, okay, I really hope she comes back to TNA because I loved her original couple runs with TNA. I thought she was so entertaining. So I really hope that long term that this leads to Allie coming back.
TNA is our home. Like
Yes.
no matter where she goes or what she does, TNA is her home. Um, I was kind of unfortunately I did miss this. I had to go somewhere, but then when I heard that she appeared, I was like, "Oh snap!" I'm like, "Well, I mean, I knew she was gonna appear, like, because of
Yeah.
the bunny stuff they were showing us." So it's gonna be. This is what interesting that they're leaving layers with this whole what's it called, the greed segments they're doing with Rosemary. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of like okay, to be continued, to be continued, to be continued, and like they love the big cliffhanger. So that's kind of like that's what you love about storylines. Like they leave like a to be continued kind of vibe. So kudos. Uh, our buddy Mike Gilbert keeps saying like, "Is Jimmy Jacobs back?" Like, because he's known for doing the undead Roman stuff. So I was like,
I
but
think there
I
was
mean,
even a Wrestle House mention last night,
yeah,
which, yeah, that was very funny. Yeah, I saw when Mike said that. I'm like, okay, that would be like, did he just come and do this one segment? You know what I mean? Because that did feel very similar style. So, yeah, that was really fun. I hope we get maybe at least one more swinger
yeah,
segment before
yeah.
they are done with these tapings.
Yeah. So
And
like,
I'm
yeah,
sure he's.
Ali coming back, yeah, kind of felt like, yeah, another full circle, with the Impact
Mhm,
era and stuff. So,
definitely. Okay, we're gonna finish up because we already talked about the Ricky Sosa match. He defeated Brad Attitude, by the way. I just want to mention that. We're gonna move into the Atlanta Street fight. It was Moose taking on Cedric Alexander. And man, what is this? This has been a slew of like these hardcore, hard hitting TNA main event matches. We had that casket match. Then we had the one before. God, I'm blanking on who that one was, but it was like another hardcore match or street fight. But this was so good, man. Cedric is so good. Moose, man, this guy can still obviously go. You know what I mean? Like it's not like he's not in. It's not like he's old or anything. He's still in his prime. Maybe the later years of that, but this guy can just flat out go. And this match, just the spots all over, whether it was the power bomb to the top of the trash can, just man, the way that they worked this match and put it together was so fun. The crowd really got into it. I believe our buddy Mike was there as well, so was at
he
the
was.
taping. So yeah, this was a really good one.
Yeah. Shout out to Ringside Anthony. He was there
Yeah,
too.
he was there as well.
Yeah, he does a podcast too. Um, yeah. These two, they've have good chemistry. Believe it or not, they've been wrestling for each other way back since the Ring of Honor days. So Moose and Cedric know each other very well. Uh, yeah, this was Moose is hit list, so to speak, of like, taking down the system one by one, and it got off to a good start with Cedric. This was some good stuff. Especially when Cedric was just on Busted Open, kind of saying like, how is this comparing his experience now into like people obviously wanted him to like kind of join the Hurt Syndicate and stuff, but now he's shining on his own. Like he want to be on his own. I think he's doing well right now, but yeah, this was a good stuff. Crowd was hot for Moose because obviously he played it for the Atlantic Fanatics at one point. Um, it was nice to see Alicia get involved. You know, uh, not backing down to Cedric and stuff, but yeah, good sequence. Chairs were involved. Trash can was involved. Um, they beat the what out of each other around, and yeah, the crowd never got tired out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Always love when the heel when the crowd chants like we want tables, and the heel always jinx it a bit like, nah, I don't give a crap what you want and stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it seems like yeah, sorry, seems like I think every match Moose is in, the system's banned from ringside, I think. Or maybe this one, I don't know, but at least kind of like helps a little fair because it seems like he's facing this war by himself. We thought he was gonna get like help or whatnot. But I think he's in this war by himself, which kind of makes sense because he's Moose. Like basically, like he's Moose. Like he doesn't need or at least for right now, he doesn't need anyone to kind of like take
Yeah.
take care of these guys who turn stab him in the back and stuff. And I like how Tom and Rero mentioned like, okay, like Cedric's basically like the replacement. Like he was handpicked to replace Moose because for like Cedric was getting the better of Moose in the previous matches and stuff.
Hmm.
So I kind of like how they had that layer. So it kind of felt fitting that Moose was able to kind of finally get this win over Cedric.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and he's gonna try to run through the system. I definitely think it culminates with him versus Eddie. I
yeah,
definitely could see him
yeah,
costing Eddie his championship match before that, just because I think that I don't think Eddie's going to win. And I think that would be a perfect way to a perfect thing to add to this feud. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's
Because that
him
would be
versus
another
Myers
thing that
next
the
week
Moose can
here.
get back at them for. What was that? I'm sorry.
It's him versus Myers next week.
Oh, okay, nice, and that should definitely be a good one. Myers is another guy that's incapable of having a bad match. He's like a wrestler's wrestler. You know what I mean? Another guy
Yeah.
who's just doing his best work, and he has been for years in TNA. But yeah, this was a great main event, and they really, really, like I said, we said at the beginning of the show, they're really putting these shows together very well, and I can't see how AMC is not pleased. You know what I mean? Obviously, the numbers are showing that they're really, really on the upswing. You know what I mean? TNA is
Yeah.
delivering solid numbers every week, and I think they're going to continue to
Yeah.
grow.
I
And
think.
we didn't.
Okay, continue. Sorry, continue.
I was going to say, and let me just say this, Io. I'm loving this AMC synergy. It was really cool to see the cast of Tulsa King in the audience. You know what I mean? That's really awesome.
Yeah.
AMC is really lending us
Giving
that
them,
help.
giving them stars and like all these advertisements. Yeah, it just feels like we haven't had this like synergy, like you mentioned, from since the Spike TV days. So it just kind of feels like we're getting back to that. Yeah. What was I gonna say?
Another good lead in this week too is Jack Reacher. You said that's a big franchise. You know what I mean? Tom Cruise is
Yeah.
like one of the biggest stars on the planet. So
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Any Tom Cruise film, people are gonna watch it. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, it's nice. Another thing too. They just give us good lead in films. Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah, it seems like Carlos was proud of the episode. Tommy's proud of the episode. So hopefully, whatever the result comes Monday. I mean, the viewership result comes Monday. Hopefully, it's good. But I think the TNA crew, everyone should give themselves a pat on the back because this was a really good episode.
It
And
definitely was.
yeah, we got some taste of like the present and possibly the future. Hint, hints. Possibly the future of TNA. So yeah, yeah. Talked about this was a very good episode. I recommend you guys to check it out if you
So
haven't already.
good. Well, that's gonna wrap things up for us tonight. Again, it was I would said it perfectly. It was a great show, great show. And again, we have proof from last week's. Again, this is what you're gonna see. You know what I mean? From a product standpoint, TNA. This is the formula. They have it nailed down. Doesn't seem to be any issues like there were, audio issues weeks before. They're really, really, hitting it out of the park each and every week.
Absolutely.
I want to thank everyone for I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Everyone in the chat, Matthew, Antonio, Shane for dropping by. I want to thank Io for joining me each and every week. I love talking TNA with him. I want to remind you guys to make sure you guys like and subscribe to Body Slam so you get notified whenever we go live or whenever the many, many great people go over live. A lot of content they're churning out there. You want to check it out. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week and have a good night.
Good night.
Check you later. Bye.